Welcome to the Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside...
I'm as short as Chad Gable with as short of an attitude, Jem.
Listen to us currently every Friday morning at 8 a.m. and 9 on the podcast service. No, wait, that's right. That is correct. Man, this whole changing of the days has fucked me. Yeah. So 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/groups/the pop culturist Discord. Chat to us on Twitter. All those links are in the description below. If you want to support us and watch the show as it happens, head over to patreon.com/the pop culturist. We can support us any dollar value. Get yourself a nice little sneaky link. We can come watch us record not just this show, but as well as our PlayStation show for the players. If you want to support us in more one-off fashion, head over to popcultures.com/shopping by shirts like neither of these and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopcultures. But that is correct, ladies and gentlemen. With the moving of SmackDown from its original Tuesday US time, Wednesday Australian time, to Friday US time, Saturday Australian time, we're going to have to look at changing days.
Yes. It's going to be a big old screw around, but we will make it happen.
Yeah, so what we're looking at this stage right now is we're looking at recording on Tuesdays, with it going live on Wednesdays, to sort of keep that reasonable turnaround time. So what'll probably happen is, because SmackDown starts next Saturday, probably do an episode of Raw this coming Tuesday. So we'll change days as of next week, and then I'll return to that as it goes. Now, we don't know how that's going to work with pay-per-views. It's probably going to throw some things around a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I suppose with, this week, Raw will be the go-home show. So if we do the Raw on the Tuesday and then do SmackDown the following week, just make sure we do...
Because you know how we normally do the show here? It's normally Raw, then SmackDown.
Yeah.
But when we do that combined show, it would be SmackDown, then Raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all fucking confusing.
Whether we... Even if we... maybe do the following week, so we have Raw, SmackDown, Raw. We can
record multiple days a week. I have no issue with that.
Yeah,
but it's all about you. It's all about you getting here, and that's the shitty part.
Yeah.
I can't expect you to do that twice a week. That's fucking expensive. That's expensive, and two, and it's one of those things that if we organize some gear for you at your house,
we
could do that too. But part of the big fun of this is being in the same room.
Exactly it. You get that vibe.
It's kind of lost. You can't sense how the person's going, how the person's feeling. How are you feeling?
We get vibes.
Vibes?
Yeah, we get vibes.
Samabo.
I'm good. I'm doing a lot better. I've had a bit of a sort of rough start to the week, but I don't know why I'm scratching my shoulders, but I am.
Your guns out. You're just accidentally flexing. I'm sorry. It's
just doing a day.
Yeah, it's really itchy in here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen my beach balls about this round? This big was last thing going in that way. Anyway, no, I'm good. Yeah, like I said, a bit of a rough start to the week, bit of an emotional roller coaster for myself, just privately, but honestly, I'm perked back up. Things have just sort of worked out really nicely, so I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, no news for me, man. It's as simple as ever. Getting packs ready at this point. That's pretty much the big thing for me at the moment, is just sort of trying to line up some stuff for PAX. We'll be there at PAX. I'll be there all weekend. You'll be there Sunday.
I'll be there Sunday. Yeah.
Find times to come and harass us, because we've got the SmackDown draft that weekend. So while everyone's out drinking and socializing, I'm gonna be back at the hotel room watching SmackDown.
I'll be there too.
Same as the Thursday nights. Everyone's out having pre-PAX beverages. I'm watching AEW.
I'll be there.
Decision made.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. But yeah, we'll be at PAX. Come say hi. I'm a very huggy person, so come give me a cuddle.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna I will announce this on social medias as well. I will try to hug you. If you don't want to be hugged, you need to let me know, because I will hug everyone.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see everyone. Yeah, there's a lot for me. I'm excited to see everyone.
Yeah.
So
it's my first PAX, so I'm really excited to meet everyone for the first time. And obviously, the Saturday, I've set up a piercing day, so I'm going to have people from PAX coming through all day getting piercings and stuff like that.
It's a bit of a hike to go get a piercing.
Yeah. Right? When you think about it, it's an hour train ride. It's nothing too crazy, because train station's right out the front and PAX train station right out the front. So it'll be pretty crazy to do.
PAX is the gnarliest day, so if they're all 3 days, it kind of works out well.
Yeah, exactly it. So Saturdays, always the craziest. So people do like that.
Fucking in the mic, bro.
Sorry. But yeah.
But I noticed you kept leaning back and back and back and
stretching.
just getting those guns out.
I can't. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to PAX. I'm really excited to meet a lot of people for the first time. So if you're around and you notice me, please do say hi. I'm super shy. I hate going up to people. So just throw yourself at me. Yeah. No suplexes though. Yeah,
sadly now we won't be attending the MCW shows that are over that weekend. It's just didn't. I thought about it. Yeah. Very much thought about it. But I've got some things on the Saturday night that I can't miss.
MCW 9, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're doing Friday and Saturday night. But
but they're doing I think it's called WrestleBrania on the Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably be checking that out.
So the MCW guys are doing.
Media manager. So.
Oh well, we'll have to go then. We'll have to shake some hands and
go
meet some people.
Shake some babies and
kiss some hands. Kiss some hands and shake some babies. That'd be cool if we can meet some peeps. Dash goes, I will be there Friday and Saturday. That's cool. If you want to make the dirt sheet.
Well, yeah, I'm off on Friday, so I might even float around outside if people would. I might do that actually. Just I'll be around for coffee and stuff.
Good idea.
Just float around outside.
I might come down Thursday and watch AEW.
Oh yeah. AEW.
Speaking of AEW, though, for those that may not have checked out the news, so they have finally confirmed how we'll be able to watch AEW here in Australia, and it comes at the hands of Fight TV. So the big difference here is. You can do a weekly a la carte, so you have to pay for it. So it will be $2.99 per episode.
That's not too bad.
Or you pay $5, you can get for the month.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you get 4, sometimes 5 episodes a month.
Yeah, that's rad.
$5.
Yeah, I can't complain with that.
No, not at all. So these lovely kind people at Patreon and support us will be funding said AEW, and that will allow both Jem and I to watch that show, so we can talk about it here as well.
Yeah, we can give you that content.
Big time. What else is there? Anything else? Any other updates for you to do?
No,
we did the time of change.
Yeah, we've got. We'll obviously have to work out. We're going to do reactions for the WWE coming out here.
That's true. We'll get to talk about WWE Live as well, because that's coming out. They'll be in later, almost a month to the day, or just less than a month. Yeah. That's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah.
So if you're out and about there, we'll no doubt be checking out WWE 2K20 at PAX as well.
Yeah, definitely. We might have some things in the work there.
You will. I still haven't got a response yet, so
we'll see. I might have something cool going on.
Or you. Yeah. Apparently.
Just, I told you, put on a bra and you're set. Just push them up to your chin and you're good.
But anyway, let's get this bad boy started. Now, for funsies, Jem is note lady today.
I took all my notes. I brought them with me this week.
I did take a ton of notes while I was watching Raw, and then I messaged you. I'm like, hey, did you get notes? She's like, yep. I'm like, sick.
Bye.
Yeah, no, because it's been a busy week this week, so I didn't really have time. So even though we watched SmackDown just before we came in here today.
Yeah. Which was, for me, it was just the half end. I'd already seen the first half, so
it's been gnarly busy week for me. I spent yesterday. I spent I was up at 5. Because I had the state of play. Then I went into the city. I got home late. Yeah, and then I streamed again. So I was just fuck. I got the time that I would have used to normally watch some wrestling between finishing and the stream was lost. Threw me all out.
Yeah, no, I managed to get it all done in between adulting. So. So Raw was it at the new, I can't remember the name.
Staples Center? Sears Center. One of the two.
Sears Center. Something starting with S. So in San Francisco, California. So it opened with a video package of Bray, Wyatt, and Seth Rollins from last week. Seth comes out. He's talking about the whole thing in Madudi. He's just like, he's like, the Fiend is literally a living embodiment of a nightmare. He's like, the only thing I could do last week was close my eyes and just hope that it would go away. Mm-hmm. This isn't real type thing. And he's like, I'm a survivor. I will prevail. Nobody seemed to care except him. But he's like, I survived the beast. I survived the monster. I can survive the Fiend. It's no big deal. And then Braun Strowman comes barreling down. And Braun's just like, he's like, oh, I heard you last week when you said that you hope you don't have to face me anytime soon. He's like, unlike Bray, I don't run around here pretending to be Mr. Rogers playing psycho games with puppets. I was like, that was the best. I was like, I was not expecting Braun Strowman to say that. That was beautiful. But, Seth does correct him. He's like, that's not what I said at all. I said, I'm glad that I don't have to face you anytime soon. He's like, you gave me a hell of a fight at Clash of Champions. He's like, I've got, the winner. They announced that there's going to be a fatal 5-way. And he's like, there's a fatal 5-way tonight, and I'll be taking on the winner of that for my title next week on the new season premiere of Raw. And then the week after that is Hell in a Cell, and I have to take on the Fiend. I've got a lot to think about, but I don't like the way you're speaking to me. And if you want a challenge, you've got it. I'll fight you tonight for the title. And Braun's just like, okay. And he's just like, Braun's like, oh, is that a challenge? And Seth is like, take it however you want. And he's like, good, because tonight you're going to get these hands.
Oh. But then he got all like too friendly with Seth. It's like,
yeah. I'm going to get handsy with you.
He was screaming in the corner.
Yeah. But, so...
you're the real Fiend.
Yeah. So, I'm a sex pest.
I'm a sex fiend. Oh, no.
Yeah. So, shortly after this, we get the ring announcers. They announced that there is the Fatal 5-Way, which is going to consist of Rey Mysterio versus Ricochet versus AJ Styles versus Robert Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura, obviously with Sami Zayn in his corner.
Interesting. 3 people in this match already had belts.
Already have belts, exactly. The final 3, AJ, Robert, and Shinsuke. It is also announced, so that's for the season premiere of next week. It is also announced that tonight Sasha Banks will be facing Nikki Cross, and Chad Gable will be facing Corey Graves.
King
Corbin.
Whoa, King Corbin. Respect
King
him, Jem.
King Baron.
King Corbin.
His face makes him Baron. Nobody wants to sleep with that. King Baron Corbin.
Thank you.
In a King of the Rings finals rematch. After this, we get our first match of the night, which is the Viking Raiders. As they're coming out, it is announced that it is official that Braun will be facing Seth tonight for the title. Was
it for the title or just a match? I thought it was just a match.
Oh, it might have been. Maybe it was just a match.
Maybe just a match.
Because they said a rematch, so I'm assuming.
I think it's just, as far as I know, it's just a match.
Yeah, there we go. So they're versing the OCs, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, obviously with AJ Styles in their corner. Yeah, good match. It was really good to see the Viking Raiders in proper competition again. I'm really stoked about them not bringing jobbers in anymore. This is something I've seen in the last couple of weeks. They're actually bringing in people that are in the locker room and they're giving them shots now. So, obviously the OC are pretty big at the moment, but still, it's nice to see the Viking Warriors facing the OC as opposed to facing fucking Jack and Jill from Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
Another thing that I'm really enjoying as well is they're starting to understand that the OC are there just to be butts. As in, whoever is ringside will get involved. Yeah. So very quickly, the ref was there, ready to rock and roll, and kicked AJ the fuck out.
Yep. AJ, obviously, AJ grabbed a hold of somebody's foot, I believe it was. He grabbed Ivar's foot, and the referee caught him, and he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
And my favorite thing ever, they go, you're out of here! And I was like, yeah!
And the best thing about it, there was no messing about it. It was not like, hey, you get a warning. He's like, nah, done.
Straight up, you're done. Go.
And
and AJ's like, I didn't even do anything when he clearly did something.
From a ref perspective, totally good decision. Yeah. None of this, oi mate, can you not, because they're getting switched on here. You set a pattern, people are going to pick up on said pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that they've done that. What was even better, as AJ was making his way out of the ring, being all like, I didn't do nothing. I didn't even touch him, I thought this was America.
I was just waiting for my mates.
Yeah, this was America.
It's a free country. I have freedom of touch.
I didn't hear no bell. Yeah, Cedric Alexander comes out and decks him.
Yeah, so good. Just comes flying out of nowhere and just takes him out. Throws him into the back screen and shit like that.
Born,
yeah, screws up the screen and they end up disappearing. Overall, it was a beautiful match. But yeah, it ends with the Viking Raiders getting the win, which was beautiful because the OC were about to do a magic killer on Eric, and he managed to kick his way out of it.
Yeah, just boots Gallows in the face.
And then they turned it into a Viking experience on Anderson. And
Anderson gets thrown in the air.
Yeah. And then Eric dives out of the ring to take out Gallows so that Ivar can get the pin on Anderson for the win. Beautiful. Absolutely loved it. I was like, this is a really good way to start the show.
Yeah, no complaints. It was good.
Yeah, I was really happy with that. So next it cuts backstage to our boy Robert Roode getting interviewed by Charlie.
Why is he out? Since when is he fucking our boy?
Huh?
Since when is he our boy?
I don't know. I just said that.
Like,
Maybe I have this secret like I can't
when
lie.
have we ever loudly disclosed that Robert Roode is a fan of the Younger Than Wrestlers?
Right now, I know he watches.
Yeah,
he totally does.
Hey,
but yeah, he's getting interviewed about Charlie about the fatal 5-way, and he's like, she says, why do you think you'll come out on top? And he's like, why do I think I'll come out on top? He's like, answers speak for themselves. I get results. I've already pinned Seth Rollins. I beat him. It speaks for itself. And he's like, yeah, my results speak for themselves, and my results are absolutely glorious. And I will defend. Sorry. So next we have another backstage bit. Michael Cole is interviewing Becky Lynch, obviously about Sasha Banks and everything that's been going on. He's like, Sasha's on a hot streak. How do you feel about that, being that, she's already been in Hell in a Cell. She's got that advantage. And Becky's like, good. I want her on a hot streak. I've always said I can't make history on my own. I need to go through these people to make history. That's why I want them at their best, because I want to make history. Mm-hmm. And she goes on to say, she's like, he's like, Sasha's already been in Hell in a Cell, and Becky immediately, without a second thought, was just like, and she lost.
Yeah, motherfucker, that's old news.
Yeah,
this is the one thing. Sasha has an incredible history of fucking choking at pay-per-views, like consistently for the longest time. And I made that, and I forgot about that pattern, when it came to predicting Clash of Champions, because she forever loses at pay-per-views. I think for the last year and a bit, it's been a clean nothing.
Yeah.
Except for the tag titles.
Yeah, which is a different story though, because we all know that was Bayley. But Becky's like, no doubt, Cole goes, no doubt Bayley's going to be present. Obviously, this. And Becky's like, it's not about keeping Bayley out. It's about keeping Sasha in. She's like, I can't wait to have that trap right in the cage with me, because the only exit for her is through that door, and she's got to go through me to get it. So Becky's fully ready for a fight with this. I love the whole thing. Like, Becky is just so good when she speaks, and how composed and how fluidly things come out, and she's just it. Like, she is the women's division. It's no doubt about it. She just speaks so fluidly. Everything is just so perfect out of her mouth. So yeah.
I'm getting, it's this weird, I understand with Hell in the Cell probably 2 weeks away at this point. It's like a week from Monday.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to this, but I don't know whether I can go another week. As if I hear this again.
Yeah.
I can't understand. It's just this. I think because we saw that match at Clash, it's that situation of, it's the same match, it's a rematch, meh, meh, meh. And the Hell in the Cell stipulation does add some change to it, but I don't know, it's not having the same effect on me when they kept delaying the Ronda versus Becky. When it happened, I was like, yes, but here it's just like, come on, mate. Come on.
Yeah, just get it over done with. Killer makes some good points
in
there.
the chat. Oh, my fucking TV's yelling at me. So let's see. In the chat, Killer says, my honest to God prediction for Hell in the Cell is Becky winning because they want to keep her strong with 2K20 around the corner.
Especially with her being on the
wasn't
cubby.
there. I could see her losing. Disagree, because AJ Styles also lost his belt shortly, right around 2K19.
Interesting. There you go.
It seems to be, I think it's UFC that has that rule. The UFC has this the curse of the cover, where you get kind of fucked up. But if the fact that she's not holding the belt on the cover is fine. She can still come out of it okay.
Yeah, that's true. She'll still come out strong. We all know, like she said it herself, she's here to make history, and that's what she's doing.
Yeah, if they put Becky 2 belts on that cover, that would age very poorly because she doesn't have 2 belts now. Yeah. But the fact that it's just her and Roman, I don't see it being a concern.
Yeah. So next we have the most random fucking match ever. We get an entrance from Rusev, who's about to have a match against EC3, who's already in the ring.
Yeah, EC3 was weird.
Yeah, but
cool though.
Yeah, this is what I love though, is that they put EC3 in the ring.
2K19 already launched when Styles lost the title. Well, that's fine.
They're listening to us because didn't we say last week what the hell happened to EC3 and next minute he's in the ring?
That's right. Yeah,
so no, I was stoked to see EC3 in the ring because they could have thrown Rusev against a jobber. Like, they could have been like, here, have the Lucha House Party. But no, they put him up with somebody who's kind of a similar size to him. So it was really cool to see EC3 in the ring again. I did love that being European, Rusev is in kg, so they announced him at 138 kilos. 130, he's a bulky boy. I want to stand next to Rusev. The entire match, all we got was,
Look,
we want Lana.
If you want to say someone, if you want to sit next to someone weighing around about that, you're already up. He just looks better. All right, he holds his up here.
He has a big
mine
top
is
end.
lower. All right, we're in the same window.
Your toughness is here.
Yeah,
His
just
is
punch
here.
me in the guts. You get me up here, I got nothing. Killer Whoops 2K19 released September and Styles lost his belt in November. My bad.
There you go. Sweet little match. EC3 did tap out. He got a brutal march kick and then into a submission that Rusev made him tap to.
It's called it does have a name, Accolade.
The Accolade, there you go. The entire match they were chanting "We want Lana." It was great. It's absolutely beautiful. It was a good little match though. Like, it was nice. It was quick, fast paced. Didn't feel like it was dragging on for too long. Definitely put Rusev over as a beast. Like, he's a very strong. I mean, it was awesome to see EC3 wrestle as well. We got a bit of a taste of what he's like. He's really fast, that dude.
Yes, apparently EC3 just got off a plane.
Yeah, crazy.
According to Twitter, he just because they've done some house shows in Philippines, somewhere Philippines, Hawaii, and somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they came back, and he's like,
And they even
he's
said-
like, I just got off a plane.
Yeah, and they even said they're like, props to EC3, like, he's literally just been around the world. He must be wrecked, and he got wrecked, which it's all you can expect. But
when you look at that mustache, like, fuck.
Yeah, but all power to you, man. If you just got off on a plane and you're wrestling that night, like, hell freaking yeah, dude. All
You're a
power
champ.
to you. That is what a true wrestler does, and like all my props go to EC3 for that. So next we do get a backstage segment. Rey Mysterio is talking about almost retiring because he just had a moment of serious doubt, and thanks to Dominic for being his power and his push and that sort of stuff.
So kind of a repeat of previous conversations here. There's nothing new was added. It was more of like, I almost quitted, but I didn't quitted because Dominic came in. He's like, you don't quit it, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I don't quit it, son. And then no one quitted.
No one quitted. So yeah, he's like, thanks to Dominic, I'm in a position to have an opportunity to go through and face Seth Rollins. This would be huge for me. I'm dedicating this match to you, Dominic. And straight away I was like, he gonna lose. Anybody who dedicates a match to somebody, he gonna lose. But yeah, I'm like, cool, rad, like Rey Mysterio, cool. Like, I want to see what you can do. Not much. I wasn't expecting much. Like I said, he dedicated to Dominic. He gonna lose. So next we have the Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross match with Bayley in Sasha's corner and Alexa in Nikki's corner. Amazing. I was actually really impressed with this match. Like, I think athletically, both these women are at their peak right now. They fought really well. It was a nice, fast-paced match. Nikki did get to the point where she realized she needed to get Sasha on the ground, so she just kept doing these arm drags on her and, like, holding her in this move. And it got to the point where I think she did 3 or 4 of them. Sasha's like, oh, come on! She was just visibly pissed about it. It was beautiful. So yeah, Sasha tries to leave at some point. Nikki like jumps out of the ring and jumps on her back and gets this big old sleeper hold on her. She just drops Nikki on her back on the friggin' bare concrete, whatever, right near the end of the ramp. And I was like, these girls are getting vicious. And you know what? I love it. I love seeing women just all out brawl. Like, this is what I've always wanted from the women's division. And like, and now I'm just like, feed me more. Like, I'm like Homer with the donuts, just like, hum.
This is adding some impressive speculation to what we've had discussed in the past. Like, although they've talked about their lack of interest in the tag teams, this is Sasha and Bayley we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It looks as if they may be willing to come on the scene so they can both like presumably end up double champs.
Yeah, exactly it. Bayley ends up getting involved, which causes Alexa to get involved, and she ends up throwing Bayley into the timekeepers area. Like, Alexa gets vicious, and then Nikki Cross is about to she hits a crossbody and it gets counted into a bank statement, and she ends up tapping. And then after that, Sasha does jump out, after the match, they attack Nikki and Alexa and end up leaving them like all bloody and beaten. And then you see as they're walking out, like Sasha's all like messed up and she's like, babe, how's my hair? And like Bailey like licks her thumb and like starts like fixing her hair and shit like that. It was so dumb, but it was so cute. I was just like, oh, friends. But yeah, it was a good match. Honestly, I was really impressed. I think by everyone. Like, I think the women's division is so strong right now. And I was just really happy with the match overall.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed it. I liked where it was going, but this is the situation that we're having right now. It's just we've had Nicky versus Sasha, Nicky versus Bailey, and then we'll have
Tag team versus tag
and then
team.
we'll have Alexa versus Bailey, Alexa versus Sasha. Like it's like how many different variations they can do. Like it's the repetition of the same people. We can only hope that once the draft is done and dusted, we'll be able to see new and more people come back onto show, and that's crossed. What has me excited.
Yeah. So next we do get the OC backstage. They're obviously a bit beaten and broken, and they're talking to AJ obviously about the Fatal 5-Way. AJ's like, none of these superstars are on my level, nobody's on my level, like I am better than all these people. And the guys are like, yeah, you are. And then they go in for the 2 Sweet, and Gallows is just like, what? And AJ's like, you okay, mate? And he's like, nah, man. And still does it anyway. So good. Next, we have a little announcement of Brock Lesnar returning to Raw. Brock Lesnar is apparently going to be on Raw next week for the season premiere.
Ahead of his match against Kofi Kingston on the first episode of SmackDown
Fox. Yeah. And then this brings us into the Street Profits backstage, basically promoting the Fatal 5-Way, talking about who's involved, doing the Street Profits thing. I'd really like to see them wrestle, but I don't think we're going to get that until after the draft. But it's still fun seeing them pop up every now and then. So they
have a match on NXT next week as well, so you can watch that if you were interested.
There you go. As they're talking about it, Dawkins is like, yo, man, I still can't get over Ricochet's face last week when he was announced as the baby daddy, and he wasn't even the baby daddy. And then The Miz walks in. He's like, boys, I have 2 huge announcements. Number 1, last Friday they say it in American, so it's like the 9th, 2019. But the 20th of the 9th, 2019, at 8:02 a.m. in the morning, Maurice gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Ew. So, what was it? Melrose Sky Mizanin is the big sister to Madison Jade Mizanin.
Yeah.
Of course, they're all M's. Maurice, Mike, Madison, and what's the Melrose.
Very
all
cool.
of the M's. Very cute. And he's like, and unlike Mike Kanellis, we know who the baby daddy is. I was like, oh, shots fired. And then he also announced that next week on Raw, he is going to be hosting the biggest Miz TV. He claims his segment is going to include the immortal Hulk Hogan. Big old Triple H on that one. And the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I'm excited about it. Wheeling, dealing, styling.
No, they are wheeling. They're wheeling old fuckers out. Can they put these guys away? Put them away. Like every time, this is the problem that they're having, and it's this continued problem of like, oh, we'll just keep wheeling out old guys to impress people to get ratings for these particular times. No, just fucking double down on people that you have. Like, you know, why don't you bring other people out, like more newer people? Like, what the fuck's Edge doing right now? Give Edge a call.
Well, apparently Edge did announce, like, he did the spear when they were in Canada. He speared someone. And apparently he's medically cleared, and there is a prospect that he may be making a return.
But I mean that as in, like, why don't you bring him in? Like, don't we fucking... Why
don't we have like a live the Edge and Christian show?
Yeah, don't bring out this leather bag old fuck or Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring them out. And then like, why continue to associate yourself with this racist human being who does not have a positive result on show?
Yeah, last
consistently
time nobody cared
he gets booed.
But AJ does make a big good point there. It's understandable that Hogan's coming for SmackDown.
But he's not coming to SmackDown. He's coming to Raw.
It is on Raw, isn't it?
Yeah, he's coming to Raw. It means nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's...
And Dash says manure people. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, let Ric Flair just go fucking die. Like, I understand he's got a history and that's incredibly important, and you can't underestimate everything that he's done. And for that reason, props to him. But enough's enough, man.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. like I said, I'd love to see Edge and Christian. That would be awesome. Like, see ENC or like, I don't know.
It's the situation. Like, look at it this way. Next week, we are seeing AEW have their first breakout TV show. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're going to wheel out old people? No. They're bringing in new, cool faces that you'd want to see because they are going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't know that either.
Instead, they're like, Raw's like, let's wheel out old people again. The Raw reunion was like a month ago. It was like 3 months ago. But.
Well, Killer did just say Hogan is announced for SmackDown as well.
Cool.
Which
it's a waste of him on 2 shows.
Yeah, well,
just
like I can understand,
off.
like Killer does make a good point with it being SmackDown's 20-year anniversary as well, like the 20th anniversary of SmackDown, and then moving to Fox at the same time. I get it, but at the same time, like you have people like Edge. Edge was huge on SmackDown. Edge was SmackDown. Like, why don't you have somebody like him?
Or the fucking Hardys.
Exactly.
Bring Lita out.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, little things like that. Like, I get it completely.
Like, ideally, I'm sure they would want to get The Rock, but The Rock's busy being an actual good human being.
I think.
So instead, they're like, let's get Hulk Hogan.
I think they're still trying to cater to that older crowd, which are just not going to
why?
tune in. Like,
but why?
I guess because that's when they had their highest ratings and stuff like that, you know? But, you know, it is what it is. We have to deal with it, and we will tear it the fuck apart.
Yeah, I'm not stoked on that.
Fucking rip it up.
Yeah, I hope Miz just kicks him out.
Yeah. So next we do have Lacey Evans versus Ember Moon. Randomly. Yeah. Look, brutal. Absolutely vicious. Like, straight away, Ember just gets his vicious fucking boot to Lacey's throat.
Yeah, it's like ding, 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 badoosh.
Straight in the throat, too. They showed the slow-mo of it.
The throat meat,
yeah. We're making comments of, like, how everything's so crisp and so clear and the frame rates are a lot
higher.
Oh,
no, this is for SmackDown. We'll get to that.
It was just for SmackDown? Yes. I thought it was the same on Raw. Because they played the replay and you just see slow-mo, like, and Lacey's throat just blows out. Like, vicious. Anyway, it's great because, like, Ember starts mocking Lacey as well. And she's all like...
doing her dabbing brow stuff.
Oh, it's so good. Like, I love Ember Moon for that. But yeah, so fight goes on. Lacey gets a vicious kick to Ember through the ropes. Natalia's watching on awkwardly, obviously, because there's some weird thing going on with her and Lacey, which I don't even know. Apparently, it's all Twitter based. Haven't even been paying attention. Don't think anyone has.
Follow neither of them on Twitter.
Yeah. So yeah, at one point, yeah, Ember evades a women's right, which is awesome, and then she ends up on the apron and she does like this crazy freaking stunner on the like the apron bit. Like, it was freaking beautiful. Like, Ember just does some cool shit. And then yeah, finally, like, Ember ends up getting clocked with the women's right, and then Lacey locks in a sharpshooter for the second week in a row, clearly sending a message to Natalya, and Ember does tap. This cuts backstage to Sarah coming up and saying, like, you know, Natalya, Lacey's just won a match with your move for the second time. Like, how does that make you feel? And she's like, you know, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. She's like, and so she should be, but the problem is she doesn't lock it in properly, and she better be ready to tap. And then just storms off. And I was just like, what? Yeah. The fuck did you just say? Like, Natalya really needs some work when it comes to speaking. Like,
it's weird though, because she like
started strong.
The thing they keep talking about with Natalya is the history that she has, this pedigree that she comes from, and I understand that's the case. And in ring and probably in the training center, as we know, like that is a good place for her to be. She is 100% a veteran in that sense. Yeah. But I'm really finding that her on mic work is appalling.
She started so strong.
Whether that comes from her being put into situations where she has to, you know, behind the curtain help put over these people, it's not landing. But it's but like, even as I said, using the example, like, well, she's there to help put over, and people like, you're doing a disservice. You're not making Lacey sound better. Saying that though, Lacey, I feel, is getting better.
Yeah, she is. She tweeted last week she was in Canada and she copped a ticket and she was just being a bitch about
good heat video.
I was like, that is what Lacey needs to be doing. And for me, that I had a moment of like, holy shit, Lacey's getting better, and I'm proud of that. Like, it was generating the right kind of heat. And I was just like, yes, bitch, like, this is what you need to be doing. Like, I'm very proud of her for that. And I'd never ever share a Lacey tweet in that one. I was just like, bitch, like, this is generating heat. This is what you need to do. Because this week it made me like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to see what Lacey's got in her bag, you know. And she is getting better. She's getting faster. Everything's connecting a lot more solidly. Like, I think she's really finding herself as an athlete, and I'm really excited to
And that's what happens when you get put in the ring with a veteran. Like, they make you work.
Exactly.
And I do think that's certainly an advantage of this little feud going on
definitely.
here. However, I just don't know where it's landing.
Yeah. Yep. So after this, we do have the Firefly Funhouse. Yay! Yowie wowie. So we have Bray Wyatt hanging up a picture of Demon Kane all drawn over because obviously he got him. And then like it's Huskus the.
Oh, is this the part where he puts up the blank picture?
And there's a blank one after.
Yeah, so he's on the wall. You see numerous marked or crossed people. Kane is already up there, and he's putting Bray is putting up a new frame with a black image on it, so you're not quite sure who it's going to be.
Yeah.
He turns around to see Rambling Rabbit and Huskus the Pig Boy fighting over a Seth Rollins action figure.
Yeah.
And to make the idea of like, hey, you guys should be friends. You shouldn't be fighting over Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, he's like, I think Rambling Rabbit's like, we've just become such big fans of Seth that we don't want to share him. And, he's like, when you love something too much, you become...
Makes you weak.
Yeah, it makes you weak, you're vulnerable, things happen. He starts getting real weird. He's like, I know what it's like to be abandoned by the people I love. And I was like... Ooh.
Yeah, by the people that supported you, that sort of stuff. And so then he's like, look, I can sort this out, grabs the figurine, rips it in half, does the old like cutting of the pie thing, or they're cutting the baby in half.
Well, yeah, what happens first though, like while he's saying that, he's like giving this heartfelt like, I know what it's like to be abandoned. And Rambling Rabbit's like, yo, Bray, that's cool and all, but can you not hurt Seth? And then he's like, well, you guys shouldn't be fighting. And then he literally snaps the toy in half after he's asked not to hurt him. And then he hands him like a piece each. And he's like, maybe we don't want to hurt Seth. Maybe we want to protect him. But the Fiend never forgets. And doesn't like to share. So he snaps a toy in half and then does a crazy stare, and then it cuts out.
Yeah.
Really cool. I think that was a bit of fun.
Yeah, I was digging that.
I was into it. It was nice and short. It wasn't too much like it has been lately. It was really good. And I love that they're keeping it going, that it isn't something that just died after the Fiend debuted again. Like, it's still a thing. And like Bray Wyatt essentially he's not there. It is just the Fiend.
We've never
present.
seen Bray outside of Funhouse, which I like. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm all about that too. So next we have R-Truth and Mella. They come running out into the ring with the Horde showing up shortly after, and Mella's like, stop, everybody just...
And impressive, like, once again, we keep complimenting every week how the Horde is getting smaller and smaller. This week it was Kurt and Zach and LHP and Mojo Rawley. That was it.
Yeah, it is getting smaller and smaller.
5 people.
Yeah. But yeah, and Drake Maverick, as always.
Oh, and Drake, yeah.
And then she's like, stop, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I can't go to the bathroom without being on edge. Like, I can't do this anymore, Truth. I'm so sorry. I can't do this. And he's like, no, it's fine. He's like, my clown friend, he's going to give us a balloon ride to Derry, Maine, and we're going to stay there and be protected. Obviously talking about It Chapter 2. And she's like, no, Truth, like, seriously, I can't do this anymore. And Truth is like, you know what? No, I understand. And he gives her this big hug, and they come out of the hug. And then she just rolls him up and pins him and wins the 24/7 championship. And I was like, Mella's smart. And eventually Truth is like, and he's like, yeah, Mella. And then he, like, gets up and raises her hands and shit.
Very happy with this. It's a situation of about time. I do really think that Carmella should have been the first woman. Kelly Kelly's cool and all, but I do think that this should have been Mella.
But it was so good. I was just like, I was not expecting this at all. And then out of nowhere,
the women's loser locker room.
Yeah, a horde of women come running down. This horde of women is 5 people as well. We had Dana Brooke, Tamina, Sarah Logan,
Billy Kay.
and Billy Kay. Oh, it was only 4
Tamina.
women. I said Tamina.
Oh.
Yep. So Dana Brooke, Sarah Logan. Hold on, I've got it here. Yeah, Dana Brooke, Sarah Logan, Tamina, and Billie Kay. So it's only the 4 of them. But they come running out. Truth, I think Mella tries to piggyback Truth first, and it doesn't work. So Truth ends up picking up Mella, and they run out.
Yeah.
And then what was it that was said to Corey?
Oh yeah, so on the after the pin and they're celebrating that Kamal's won, it's like Renee goes, "Oh Corey, you can finally consummate the 24/7 championship." He's like, "That's too late, Renee." It was very clever because it's very public. Like after I think it was Elimination Chamber where there was that big kerfuffle around Carmella and Corey, but it turns out him
and his partner had already split.
Yeah, it's been long stuff, and they've been pretty together for that since from now to then. So. Good on him.
Yeah, it was super funny though. It was absolutely beautiful. I was not expecting it to take this turn, and you know what? I'm all about it.
I'm happy with this because
I was so excited.
The smart
Truth is the 19-time champion.
Yeah, it is a smart move here for them to take away because these guys have been given their time. The women have had no time, and in order to prevent this from being stale, this is a smart way to do it.
Yeah,
Big time.
it was
Big
a lot
time.
of fun. Definitely a lot of fun. And it still keeps it hilarious because it is Mella and Truth, and they're just a funny combination. So next we have Sasha and Bailey talking backstage amongst each other. They're like, we just destroyed Nicky and Alexa. And Sasha's like, at Hell in a Cell, I'm going to be the only woman standing, and I'm going to take back what's mine, clearly alluding to the Raw Women's Championship being hers. So we'll see. Next we have King Corbin, as announced earlier, coming out with his new intro and his new...
No. It is not a new intro. It is literally his intro, and then
shit mashed in
every 4 seconds they splice to some Regal music, then they splice back. It's the same bullshit as the Kabuki Warriors.
Fire and
The laziness, the absolute fucking laziness of the theme team or the audio designers or whoever right now is absolutely bollocks.
Yeah.
We'll get to this when SmackDown comes around, but so as of right now, Corbin's getting this weird faded sort of thing. The Kabuki Warriors have it. Fire and Desire have it. It is absolutely abhorrent. It looks. Me in this room could make a better mix.
Yeah.
Using Adobe Audition on my computer.
Yeah.
I could make a better version of that fucking intro.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely laziness, but, there's not much they can do.
The rated RKO theme effect. Yeah, it's gross.
Yep, they did it once and apparently works all the time. No. And he came out looking...
Because the problem that they're having is, neither of them are even tempoed the same.
No.
If you
they're
put Kyrie's and Asuka's completely different as well. So when that shift happens, it's really abrupt.
Yeah.
Now... Credit to Corbin, there is a bit in that kind of lines up okay. So there was a moment where it goes from his intro to the Royal to the intro. Can I still hear the Royal underneath it? You can't. It's not there. But there's the transition really point was a little bit smoother.
Yeah. King Corbin comes out, obviously because his stuff got ripped apart by Chad Gable the week prior. He's out in a new gig, looking very, King of Westeros, they keep alluding to the fact that his crown and his scepter are Valyrian steel and he's wearing a dire wolf cape and shit like that. Very Game of Thronesy. I loved it, honestly. I think it suits Corbin really well, and I think they set that up for him to have that really dark Game of Thronesy look. I loved it. I love the look of it.
Absolutely dig it.
Yeah, absolutely dig it.
If anything, it doubles down on him just being this butthole king, and I'm very happy with it.
Exactly it. So he's going to be facing Chad Gable. As the intros are happening, there is a little segment with Shinsegae and Sami backstage. Sami says something, Shinsegae says something in Japanese, and Sami's like, "Yep, you're right, and then that's the end of that. Really poorly placed. I was a bit pissed off with that. I'm sick of them cutting over things with that, but what can you do? So back into the ring, we do have a video of the destruction that Chad Gable had caused last week and why obviously King Corbin was in the get-up.
Yeah, so they show the footage of Chad Gable spearing Corbin through the throne, the ripping of the cloak,
stomping
or
on the crown,
stomping of the cape, the scepter being blown apart on Corbin's guts.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And as Chad Gable was coming out, Corey Graves is like, "Look, it's the Tyrion Lannister of the WWE." And I was like, Everybody likes Tyrion. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
And-
who cares if he's short? He's
and
like the favorite character.
Fucking Peter Dinklage won an Emmy last week.
I
Chill.
know. I love Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage. Peter. Anyway, have you heard that?
Dash says, I hate how they have to call every single fucking king in the ring these days King something. Like they have to adapt it as a gimmick. Yeah, but Corbin works.
And Booker T only had one name, so King
Yeah.
Booker is like...
Yeah, King Booker
Suck
works.
it, Dash.
King Booker works. King Barrett, I guess, but was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But like the arrogance that comes with it
Yeah.
fits perfectly. You got to remember,
And
like
that's the whole idea of it.
whether there is some seeding earlier on, like when after WrestleMania with the whole. I know there's not this long level of storytelling in WWE, but having Corbin come out and straight up just list his titles.
Yeah.
You know, like it's pretty much like these are all the things that he has done.
His accolades.
These are his accolades, right? So it actually fits perfect for him to be called King Corbin. He's that butthole that would be like, no, it's King Corbin, mate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think it works great. Immediately, King Corbin starts on the short jokes and he's like, when I win this match, I'm going to decree that I don't have to fight anyone under 5'5" ever again. I'm pretty sure, the funny thing about that is I'm pretty sure Gable is 5'8".
I'm not sure.
I swear somebody tweeted at me and they're like, Chad Gable's 5'8". So like in the grand scheme of like wrestling superstars, he's short, but he's not that short.
Yeah.
Good match. It was a good match. Honestly, I'll give Chad Gable and Baron Corbin credit. They are both phenomenal athletes. They are very good wrestlers. It was a really good match. And then
Gable played a really good. It was played a lot of down the mat stuff. Was very good.
What I can't get over, and I'm not going to stress this enough, I can't get over how much Gable is like Kurt Angle in his early days. He's, obviously he's an Olympic champion. His signature move is the angle lock. Like he has a lot of the same stature, the same sort of looks as Kurt Angle. Even his voice sounds very similar. So I was just like, holy shit. Like it's really cool to see like, I guess a Kurt 2.0 in Chad Gable. And I'd love to see more of him because he's an amazing athlete. But anyway, there's one point where Chad Gable does kick out. Corbin cracks his shit and he's like, do you know who I am? And the referee's like, I know who you are. And he's like, I'm the King Corbin. And he's like, yeah, and he's still tapped out at 2.
See, what would have been amazing? Yeah, he kicked out at 2, Your Majesty. Like that, I would have fucking pissed my pants.
Yeah, that would have been even better. But he's like, yeah, I know you're the king, but he's still kicked out at 2. Yeah. It was beautiful.
So rub that shit in.
I love that they're getting the referees involved in this stuff. Like, it's so much fun. I think,
after the success of AEW, watching like Audrey like fight back.
I'm the referee, don't you? Oh, that was beautiful.
Is it Aubrey, not Audrey.
I think so,
Aubrey.
something like that. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
Dash having a
beautiful.
rant in the chat about
he is
King
apparently.
Ring.
Yeah, so I'm not wrong. Killer did confirm that Gable is 5'8". So take that, Corbin, and stick it in his scepter.
Yeah. Or your butt.
Yeah. So it's crazy because the crowd was fully behind Chad Gable for this. There was Gable chants, there was Chad chants. Like, it was friggin' awesome. Even I was just like, Gable. So good. Gable does get in the ankle lock and it looks like Corbin's about to tap. He ends up squirreling his way into the corner, grabbing his scepter and attacking and getting himself disqualified. Which I was... Yeah, it was a smart move, but I was a bit like, I would have loved to have seen him tap out, especially after all this shit with Kurt Angle. I would have loved to have seen him tap out to it.
Yeah, look, I agree with that.
But I did at the same time, like, I was pretty cool with the ending. I think it was a very good preview of what we're going to expect of King Corbin.
Yeah, it's just what we normally get from Baron Corbin being the butthole that he is, and not being open. Yeah, not being open, being open to being a piece of shit. Now it's just personified.
It's so good. So next we do get a video package of who is AOP.
Again, it's a different one this time.
It's a different video package this time. Again, they're speaking in their native tongue, and they're like, last week we exposed the WWE of being soft and that they're afraid of us, and rightfully so. They keep asking, who is AOP? Well, we're going to show you. And they just walk out of the room, and then they just find 2 random people and just beat the living piss out of them. And then it shortly cuts to black, and it cuts back, and they're sort of sorting their suits out and stuff like that. And they're like, we just showed you who AOP are. Nobody wants to fight us.
He just punched people in the hallway.
Yeah, like, nobody wants to fight us because you're afraid. You've seen what we're made of, and now you don't want to, like, you're not going to want to Pretty cool. I thought it was a bit of fun. It was nice to see that it wasn't the same thing. It was something different. Same with obviously Bray and the Firefly Funhouse. It's a different thing every week. It's really cool because they're already okay, here we go. It was Heath Slater and Jose who they attacked.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Killer. I didn't catch that. I couldn't see it. So thank you so much. But yeah, it's it was absolutely beautiful. It did show them as a very destructive force. Like, they didn't even bat an eyelid. They just get up so calmly and just walk out and attack, Slater and Jose. It was really cool. I'm really interested to see them reintroduce AOP to us.
Yeah, I agree. I do like where they're going with this sort of continued story thing. My concern is that it will go in the same route of the Aleister Black, come in this room and punch me, go a little too long. But it's certainly still better than what we were facing at the end of last year when they played the same Lars Sullivan promo for about 6 weeks, and I wanted to strangle someone.
Yeah. I definitely think we're going to see a bit of AOP popping out of nowhere, whether it's beating somebody up backstage or throwing themselves into matches or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me if they are the ones that take the belt.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm all for it. Give me something fresh and new.
Yeah.
So next we do have Rey Mysterio's entrance for the Fatal 5-Way, which Michael Cole does slip up and he's like, Fatal 4-Way! I was like, you fucking dickhead, you're on live television.
Michael Cole.
But yeah, so versus Rey Mysterio versus Ricochet versus AJ versus Shinsuke and Robert Roode. So as Ricochet's before he comes in, he does get interviewed by Sarah in the what they call the gorilla position.
So before we jump into that, Killer does mention, he goes, please, for the love of fucking God, please bring back Paul Ellering to manage them. I don't think they need a manager.
I don't think so. I think they're doing well without it.
Because previously they did have the manager to sort of be their mouthpiece, and I think what they're doing here is showing they don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, if my understanding, if I remember right, at least what they were doing towards the end of last year, before I think Razor got injured, they had Drake Maverick as their voice piece. They just stood there, looked like big scary dudes in fucking tack fests. Yeah. Where the difference here is, like, these guys, they're getting their chance, and I would be super happy to hear them just talk in whatever language that they're speaking in.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's awesome.
I mean,
or like speaking in these promo videos, don't talk when you get to the ring. Like, do something like
silent
that.
Assassins.
Because obviously they can't subtitle them when they're in the ring. It's harder.
Yeah.
But with the video package
silent
they
assassins. But yeah, so Ricochet's getting interviewed. Sarah asks him what this means to him, and he's like, it's my opportunity to soar and prove that superheroes can be real. And his music hits, and he looks around real awkwardly, and is like, and it's also for me to prove that my time has come. Gotta go, and then runs out. And I was like, that's smart, Ricochet. I like that. So then we have the rest of our entrances. So this is a Fatal 5-Way elimination match, which they just said Fatal 5-Way throughout the show. They didn't announce that until this point. So it is a Fatal 5-Way elimination, which means no DQ or count out. You get eliminated, you go. So the first elimination didn't happen until well into the match, which is awesome. They had an ad break and everything before the first elimination happened. When the eliminations did happen, they happened pretty quickly. Obviously, everybody's getting a bit tired.
The match kicked off pretty interestingly. It started with AJ jumping on Rey Mysterio, with Ricochet jumping on Shinsuke,
and Robert Roode just
fucked off.
He's gone. He's just fucking gone. Smart move by him, by the way. Yeah, it was really good.
It was interesting. Bit of to and fro. Rey Mysterio dropped a Hurricanrana on AJ. Shortly followed by Ricochet dropping a Hurricanrana on Shinsuke, and then left the two of them in the ring. They're like, "Oh hey," and Ricochet was like, "Oh hey man," and then just fucking punched by Ray.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was so good how Ray's just straight away like, I know what this means. Like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Yep. And they like work together but against each other, which was great. It was really good. One thing I have noticed I do love is whenever somebody like slaps AJ or something like that and his hair's covering his face and he just throws his hair back. I love that hair flick. I'm just like, damn AJ, you show them you use Pantene. Like, show them maybe it's Maybelline. Like, it's so good. At one point, Robert Roode and AJ did come face to face. Now I'm assuming they had some history in TNA because everybody started chanting TNA, TNA, TNA. So I was like, oh, wait for the bleeps. And Sami Zayn's just running around the outside of the ring, just being Sami Zayn, like skanking and being an idiot and being really exaggerated in front of the cameras. It's really cool. Obviously, there's a bit of back and forth between Ricochet and Ray. AJ gets involved, and then a little bit of back and forth between Shinsuke and AJ. So first man to go was Ricochet. He was eliminated by Shinsuke Nakamura.
From a Kinshasa.
And then, there was this really cool segment where, like, everybody was up on the ropes. I think AJ was on the ropes. No, Ray was on the ropes himself. There was Shinsuke and AJ, and then Robert Roode got in between them and, like, dropped all three of them.
Big. What are they called? Superplex.
Superplex, yeah, exactly it. Like, the 3-man superplex was, a 4-man superplex was beautiful. And then, like, Robert Roode's running around the ring, like, trying to pin all three of them, and nobody takes it. They all kick out. It ends up, there's a speedy little thing between AJ and Shinsuke, which leads Shinsuke ending up getting set up for the 619. But AJ ends up catching Ray and, like, dropping him viciously on the apron. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, AJ ends up eliminating Shinsuke after this, and then shortly after, Robert Roode eliminated AJ with a glorious DDT. And then it's down to the final two, Ray versus Robert Roode. And I did not see this coming at all, but Rey Mysterio won the match. No damn idea that was going to happen. And after it, he's like, Dominic, this is for you, baby boy. That's for you, my boy. I love you. Like this, that, and the other. And I was like, he dedicated the match. He's supposed to lose. Like, I was so confused.
Nah, for me, went the other way. When I noticed that, 3 out of the 5 had belts, I'm like, all right, it's Ricochet or Ray. Yeah. Oh, fuck, Ricochet's out. All right, it's Ray.
Ricochet's already gone, so it's Ray. Yeah. That was super cool. I think, I'm really excited to see Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. That's something.
Yeah, I'm pretty open to it. I think it's certainly interesting. It's
they're both pretty.
As the go home show to Hell in a Cell, it just means that Ray's getting decked.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as in the Fiend will come in and will fuck up Ray.
Yeah, 100%. Ray's the next one, and because Ray's a legend, so it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Next we do have Charlie backstage with Seth, and she's like, we just saw that that Rey Mysterio won the Fatal 5-Way. I want to know what you think about it. He's like, he's earned it. It's a dream match for me. Like, I've always wanted to face Rey Mysterio, but I can't help but look forward to, tonight I've got Braun Strowman, and that's next week's problem, and then I've got Hell in a Cell, and I can't, not think about Hell in a Cell, and and just brambles on about Bray Wyatt for a little bit, and then that's it. Basically it's just like, I'm gonna prevail, and I'm survivor and a prevailer. And
he was like, I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop,
I'm gonna work harder. Yeah.
I am Seth Rollins. I'm gonna make it.
And then we do get the little showing of Brock going to be on Raw next week, and now it shows that Sasha and Alexa will be facing each other next week on Raw, and also
showing new graphics.
Yeah, and also the Miz TV with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. So final match of the night does bring us to our main event, which was announced earlier: Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins. As expected, Braun just fucking bolts through Seth Rollins. Like, Seth Rollins is here, and then Braun is like in him.
Ding ding.
Yeah, just barrels through him, absolutely dominating the whole match. Honestly, I was a bit like meh about the whole match. I was just like, we saw this. Seth did do 3 suicide dives, but he absolutely fucked the third one. As he's running, he like trips and like fumbles out of the fucking ring. It was so fucking funny. I'm sorry. I just think back to it now and I'm like, you fucking dickhead. Like, he's just middle of the ring, like, whoop, and then he's just like, jump, and just fucks it. You have to go back and watch it.
I watched while cooking dinner, so I can't. I may have missed that fumble.
He fumbles it so fucking bad. It was so bad. It was good.
But look, the match itself almost means nothing, because it ended in a way that made me really happy. Yeah. So as we've seen in the previous couple weeks, as Bray continues to get into the head of Seth Rollins, Braun comes in, he does some outside wreckage of Seth, gets him in the ring, gets him for his running power slam. Sorry, when it's the lights give out, come back. Next thing you know, fucking Seth's in the corner, and Bray has Braun in fucking mandible claw in the middle of the ring. Absolutely
just ripping him apart.
Gnarly.
And immediately I was like, I know what he means by being abandoned. Like, holy fucking shit. Because wasn't Braun part of the whole...
He was one of the original members of the Wyatt family alongside Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. So, awesome. What I found very interesting, though, in almost like an animalistic fashion. So, after he downed Braun, he got in between Seth and Braun.
Yeah, he like crawled.
So initially, like from what we saw last week, where it was Fiend getting all up in Seth's shit. Here it was the other way. Yeah. He was in between them, but not in like I want to fuck him. I was like, you back. He was like a you back up.
Yeah.
Like as it was very cool. So I guess in the situation of the hurt and the heel, this was a heel situation, which was very cool. Like and because my concern,
he did say maybe we want to protect Seth, which is basically what he did tonight. Was he protected him?
Yeah, because like my concern at this stage is everything that we have seen of the Fiend as it stands have all been the hurt option. Yeah. So I like that they're giving it that nuance and they're sort of keeping that in line as well. So by having him, protect Seth, whether it be a situation of because I'm going to deck his ass next week, in 2 weeks, either or, I loved it. Because like Seth had that situation of like, you can see him freaking out but then
screaming in the corner. Yeah. But like the Fiend doesn't get that close and he just sort of hovers over him, like basically like watching him like a concerned mother pup. Like
a little bit, yeah. So as Braun approaches him again, Bray brings him down once again.
Yeah, Braun tries to get up and Bray's just like, no you do.
Yeah, takes him down with a second mandible claw. So it makes Braun look massive because he had to take 2 claws to go down.
Yeah. 100%.
And 2, it added this different dynamic, which was the first thing that caught my eye in this whole scene. I was like, sick, more Fiends, and then another layer on top.
It's good that it connects as well. Obviously, like I said, going back to Firefly Funhouse when he's like, maybe we want to protect Seth. And like, this is just showing that. Like, it's really cool how they are keeping that story going.
Like, I do wish they didn't say that in the Firefly Funhouse because I think that would have added more in the end. Like, by not alluding to it, it would have made...
See, for me, it's the opposite. I think I like that little like nod to it because I'm like, what does he mean by that? And now I see, like, it's...
Because I was the other way, because with the Firefly Funhouse, one time I watched this at work, the first half of it, so I missed... Because of the nature of what I do, I missed some of the subtle things. So I missed that being said. So when I got to the end, I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I found it the nuance that comes with it and the not assuming that your crowd is a moron is very, very important here.
I can't take a fucking hint. And I would not have picked it up unless something was mentioned.
No, okay.
So that's where it definitely does come in handy because, like, I'm not a moron by any means. I'm very bad with hints and stuff like that. I'm very much somebody who has to be told straight up how it is. I can't get a hint. I can't give off hints. Like, I'm just bad. So for me, it really triggered that, like, oh shit, he said that, like, oh my god, this is a whole different situation for me now. So yeah, he's still playing those mind games. Seth was obviously shitting himself. He was screaming bloody murder. But yeah, it also gives that aspect of like, when he's not even getting that close to him. He's basically just watching him like a concerned, like I said, like a mother dog or something like that. Like a concerned bitch. Yeah,
it's very animalistic. It was very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, and it was like it didn't drag on too long or anything like that. It was really cool, and the fact that he kept sort of focusing back and forth, like watching to make sure that Braun wasn't moving, and then checking on Seth again. And it was really a really friggin' awesome way to end the show. I was really impressed.
Yeah, the way they're handling the Fiend now, right?
Yeah,
is
absolutely
fantastic.
Beautiful. They can't fuck with it. They've done so well with
Killer
it.
in the chat says, I have a feeling that we're going to have a Bray versus Braun feud next, which I want to be a decent lengthy one.
Yeah. Like I said, I would be really interested. You don't want this to happen, but I would really be interested in seeing, the Wyatt family take on Bray in this new sort of.
It won't happen once the draft kicks in.
Yeah.
Because Rowan and Harper are on the other one.
Yeah.
So we won't see it in that sense.
Having some sort of nod back to it is what I wanted to see.
Yeah, see.
Just not completely separating them, like, because they're going to come to a head eventually at some point. So I like that it's a very subtle nod to that.
Because thinking about it, like, I do think
different characters
I do think Killer has a point. Because presumably there is no way that Seth is coming out UC.
No.
From Hell in the Cell.
No chance.
So it would make sense for Braun to hold. And then you think about who else is there. Now, I've discussed this a number of times in the past, is I want the idea of, and because that's the thing, about him being this super strong dude, and I want him to hold it until like fucking Mania.
Yeah.
So the situation of like who, people are shitting themselves, but then they step up and give it a go. And I think a good place to start with that may in fact be Braun.
Yeah,
like there is that history there, so there's a story that can tell itself. And now the Braun is super face, and although the Fiend is over incredibly well, I think there could still be that semi heel face dynamic. So it would make an interesting match at least.
Yeah, definitely. It could go a very interesting way, and I'm honestly all about it.
Yeah. How'd you rate the show?
Honestly, I was really impressed with this weekend. This week, sorry. I think there's only little things that I could nitpick, and it's little things like playing interviews over intros and stuff like that. Like, I get why they're doing it, fill more time, stuff like that. But on the whole, honestly, I was really impressed. I did not see the 24/7 Women's Champion coming. I did not see the whole, like we said with the Bray Wyatt, like being like protecting almost. I did not see the Rey Mysterio win. So all of it was all like the entire time I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So for me, straight up, I'm giving it 2 Kurt Angles. I was really impressed with this week.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed myself. I'm not. I'll give it the same. I'll give it a 2 Kurt Angles as well. But that comes from not like you're like, oh, it's all amazing. Like, it was just a solid setup. Like there was nothing brought me down.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
none of them was like
oh shit. Yeah,
and which has happened in the past. Like apart from the music stuff, but that's once again, this is me being nitpicky as a whole.
Yeah, and that's the same.
Yeah, overall, I felt it was a very tidy show. I enjoyed it in that sense. Yeah,
filled the time perfectly. Really good. Like having, not having it so heavily scripted and people just talking from the heart has been really good as well. So yeah, I loved it.
So let us know what you thought of this episode of Monday Night RAW in those comments below, Discords, Facebooks, all those places, because now we're about to transition into the final SmackDown on the USA Network. Exciting. So there's a lot set up here to bring this all together. Yeah. So the show kicked off with a little package about the whole setup of how we got to Rowan to where he is now. Included them having the drywall beat down from last week, which was also pretty cool as well. Yeah. So the whole center point of this discussion was having Rowan come in and talking about the whole disrespect or that kind of thing. Similar bullshit here again, which is fine. Yeah. This week he was rocking Killswitch Engage shirt.
I did make a note of that.
It's for the latest album, Atonement.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of, Killswitch Engage. I haven't listened to this new album yet.
Killswitch has been heavily involved with the WWE as well.
Yeah, they had It's Fire Burns. That was CM Punk's intro.
Yeah.
They were originally writing an album as one of the.
I'm pretty sure they did somebody else's as well.
Yeah, there was a song. The first song off this album was originally going to be for a wrestler.
Yeah.
It wasn't a WWE wrestler, but it was for someone. I forget who it was. I think Killer may have informed me in the past.
Yeah.
But they have a strong history. Killswitch Engage do so.
Yeah, they definitely do. So yeah, basically Rowan goes on to talk about how, like, my friend Dan kept saying that, we were intellectual equals. What he fails to realize is I am superior to him. You guys, you call me the Redwood and stuff like that. I'm sick of being identified as not human. Like, you identify me as an object. He's like, I'm an artist. He's like, and what I create is what you just saw. My art is violence. He's like, but don't call me an artist. I'm a creator. I created that. Yeah.
During this, then Daniel Bryan's music hits, like mid-sentence, comes down.
Everybody loses their shit. Yes, chant's going wild. Because while he's talking, everybody's like chanting Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
So Daniel Bryan comes and does pretty much the whole, like, you talk about disrespecting motherfucker, let's take a fight right now.
Yeah. You disrespected our friendship. Like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. He's like me when I, like, step up to somebody like, come on. I'm like 7 foot shorter than you. Let's do this. Like, come on. I'll kick you in the shins. Like, fight me. Which is basically what he does. Like, the match starts and immediately... Before we jump
into the exact match, one thing I want to talk about here is stylistically the show was different.
Yes.
It was at a slightly higher frame rate. I don't know whether it was being shot at 30 compared to the standard 24 frames per second, but there was a difference here. There were a lot more cuts and some different angles, and it was also very incredibly vibrant. So and it looked like a sharper image as well.
Yeah.
So it looks as if there may have been some upgrades to the equipment ahead of the move to Fox, which is positive because it means we're going to get a better viewing experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is cool, and it's going to be stylistically different from Raw, which makes me very happy. So yeah, a lot of these new angles and just these cuts kind of made some of the hits land a bit better. It felt a bit more well produced in a good way. Because of that higher frame rate, when they do drop it down for those slow motions, the impact seems better. The motion seems more fluid.
Yeah.
It's very minor stuff, but it's enough to change it.
Enough of it.
And throughout this, we are seeing like there is a cameraman ringside. Pardon me, we're seeing a film cameraman as well as a still cameraman. Normally they're a bit far back. You'd actually see them ringside, and they're not being afraid to show the cameraman as well. Yeah. And I think this is going along the lines of the sporty feel that Fox is wanting from them. So they're heading in the right direction there by just having it look a little bit different, which I really, really like.
Yeah, definitely.
So in short, Bryan just gets the shit kicked out of him for the longest time.
Part, he's getting absolutely obliterated.
2 iron claws. It wasn't going well. It all came down to a moment where
this was vicious.
Bryan was in the corner. Oh, we should mention that too. Well, we'll get to that first because I think it may have been happened.
Harper came out first.
He did. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. So it was a situation of Bryan was in the corner, Rollins was in the other. He's run across the ring to deck him.
Because Bryan was on a run doing the knees.
That's correct. So a couple headshots. Bryan ducks down, blows apart the left knee of Rowan, and then continues to work that knee for the next couple of minutes.
The ring post and stuff like that. Those double knees that Bryan throws, he got so fucking high that he had to throw himself around and roll onto his back so he didn't smash his neck because he was jumping so high to hit Rowan with those. Daniel Bryan never ceases to amaze me with how high he can fly, how hard he can kick. That guy is a veteran.
Yeah, this was a really great way to showcase Daniel Bryan as that tactical wrestler. Yeah. And so being that tactician is probably a better way to explain it. So with him focusing on that body part and working it and working it and working it.
Really good.
Because that comes down to the idea because we see it early on that he tries to do a sunset flip and of course no fucking move.
No.
It's
you've got to get the guy.
You're fighting Rollins. So for him it was bring him down to his level. Yeah. He's really, really working on that knee.
Very smart, working on his feet. Daniel Bryan's so good like that. So yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. There was a part where I'm pretty sure it's end of the match, so we'll deal with that then.
Yeah, so Luke Harper gets involved as well. He runs in, but before doing the whole sneaky boot from nowhere, Bryan turns around, socks him one, takes him out of the ring.
Catches him straight up.
Yes, as they're on the rope here, Rowan comes up, grabs him, goes to slam him into the mat. As he picks him up, Bryan's leg gets caught in the rope, wraps it around, and instinctively Rowan goes to crank it open and get the foot out.
So you hadn't seen this yet, and I immediately hit Ryan up and I was like, dude, how are you about spoilers? And he's like, all right. And I'm like subtly. I was like, there was a massive fuck up right now, and it is huge character break, and I sent him a little 50-second clip of it. So yeah, obviously Daniel Bryan's taken out Harper. He literally threw Harper over the announce table. Harper just got straight up and stood on the announce table, and while Daniel Bryan's standing back what the hell, Rowan picks him up from the floor over the top ropes, grabs him by the face, and goes to throw him. And as he's doing it, Daniel Bryan's leg sort of wraps around the middle rope.
Yeah, so his ankle gets caught on the middle rope, so as he pulls it over, it just instantly wraps
it and tucks, and immediately you see this look of concern on Rowan's face, and he just yanks the rope.
Yeah, because by doing so that there's two things that are of concern here: a broken ankle, or even just alleviating the pressure, because that tightness would hurt blood circulation as well,
even with padded he's got padded shoes on. But
so still. even the advantage. So what by Rowan doing that crank, it allowed the ankle to shift.
Yes.
So whether it be, even though that there is that pressure on there, it's not twisted in a pain way.
Bryan,
so he could bring him back up and it wouldn't be a thing.
And the good thing about it as well was once he realized oh shit, I'm breaking character, he got the ref to sort of try and get him apart, and he sort of went on the attack and used it as a I'm the bad guy, I'm gonna beat you while you're in that position, and then once I'm done with you, I'll be you know what, I'm gonna I'll get you out of this when I want you out of this.
No, it's the other way. It's you spot on there, but it was part of this idea of look, he said, I'm gonna grab him by the hair and lift him up. So I take advantage of the situation, but on the same time giving him that leverage he needed to get out. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, he went about getting him out really well. That's exactly. Yeah, you could very clearly hear Daniel Bryan screaming out, "Get me out, ref." So, like, these things happen, and I guess, it shocked me a little bit because it's like, it really does show you the reality of what they do and how dangerous it can be. And, like, even though, botches like that, not a botch, accidents like that happen rarely, accidents do happen and people do get seriously injured properly. But Daniel Bryan, match continues. Luke Harper does try to get involved again. Roman Reigns music hits.
Oh, so we should mention, so once Bryan is free, Iron Claw, 1, 2, 3 for the pin. Once again, the other thing, you see him grab the foot and, like, as in Rowan check the foot, which is great as well.
Yeah.
As he gets up and goes in, Harper comes in, does a little spin on top of Bryan, which is, it looks as if he's just getting up in his shit. We can kind of be like, you're right. So that was very cool. It was nice to see. It was nice to see that communication take place. Once again, breaking kayfabe. That it's very cool for them to give, like, even though they're playing their role, they gave a shit. And this is that moment where you see that they're like, this is a whole contact sport. The entire job of these guys is to take damage. They still give a shit about each other.
At the start of the show, like, how serious it is and how these people put their bodies on the line for this. But yeah, it was beautifully, like, even though they were playing, like, the way they went about everything was just beautiful. They made it seamless. Like, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. But then obviously they go on the attack. They're going to try and take Daniel Bryan out. Roman Reigns does come out and tries to get a duz on. I think they do end up getting the upper hand. Daniel Bryan's like, you know what? Like, because, Daniel Bryan's on the ground. Roman Reigns tries to help him up and Daniel just slaps his hand out. And I was like, dude, come on. And he's just like, you know what? He gets a mic. He's like, who wants to see us kick their disrespected asses? And everybody's like, yes. And Daniel Bryan's like, good. Yes. And he gets out and he's running around. He's getting everybody to cheer. Yes. Like, it's yes, Daniel Bryan back. Like, and I was so excited because when he's just like, everybody's like, wah! And he's just like, drops the mic and yes.
So it does get later confirmed that we are getting Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper in a match at Hell in the Cell. Not a Hell in the Cell match, just at the
pay-per-view.
Which is cool.
It was so beautiful. I was so excited by, like, just Daniel Bryan running around doing the yeses. I was like, yes, Daniel Bryan.
So they did also announce for next week's show of So that was for later in the card. My bad.
Yeah.
Was for Carmella and Charlotte versus Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
They did also do the Brock Lesnar promo as well, similar to the promo from Raw and whatnot. There was also a sit down with. Yeah, so I sit down with Michael Cole and Kofi. Usual bullshit. I actually completely zoned out at this part because
We were watching it when I walked in?
Yeah, I didn't listen.
You didn't listen.
No.
So basically, Michael Cole's just like, how do you prepare for somebody like Brock Lesnar next week? And Kofi's like, you don't. He's like, how can you prepare for somebody who's got a moniker of the Beast incarnate? He's like, you don't prepare. He's like, I just have to be me right now. I'm at the top of my game. I'm on the top of my career. Like, all I can do is be me and do what I do right now. Yeah. He's like, this is a huge opportunity, not only for myself, but for us to showcase what we do for Fox, moving over to Fox. It's a huge multi-million-dollar deal. It's going to be huge for me. It's going to be huge for you. It's going to be huge for all of us. So basically that's all he goes on to basically just promote Fox and like totally pump them up and obviously get them hyped about moving over.
So you know why I zoned out here? I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I am so bored of Kofi Kingston as a champion.
I'm excited to see him go head to head with Brock Lesnar.
I'm assuming he's ass stomped.
Yeah, he's gonna get mushed.
I'm gonna get to see him take like 7 F5s, couple suplexes, and then it goes to Brock. Yeah. I am so done with Kofi. For someone that like, oh, no worries, dude. So Dash just for me, he's updating the dirt sheet. So woo.
Just news now.
And like it's the thing because you're talking to a guy that cried when Kofi won at Mania because it was such an awesome and powerful moment. But as of right now, it's died. Like yes, we're 5 months later, 6 months later, but I'm just not feeling it anymore.
Yeah,
like he had his time, he proved his case, and he's gone as far as I think he could.
Yeah. I think we're at that point where Kofi's done.
So I've just stopped caring.
Yeah, understandably.
Straight and simple.
Yeah.
Next up was a Chad Gable versus... Fuck, who was it against? Oh, yeah, Mike Kanellis.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a preview footage from the last couple of weeks with all this stuff with King Corbin.
Chad goes on to speak about... He comes out and he's basically like, Baron Corbin, he keeps telling me I'm going to come up short. It's a short joke if you didn't know that. His words. And he's like, but... last week just goes to prove, as you saw, he had to attack me with his scepter because clearly I was going to win. I had him beat and he had no way out. And as he's talking about this, Mike Kanellis comes storming out with his music and we're like, what? And Mike's just like, hey, like, sorry to cut you short. But my pregnant wife, I've got to prove to her that I'm a man and I can do man stuff. So, like, fight me now, shorty, because I'm going to beat you, short man. And then Chad Gable doesn't even take his shirt off and beats the living shit out of Mike Kanellis. Yeah,
that was pretty quick. There was that awesome little, like, roll-up suplex, where he, from the corner,
just grabs him a couple of...
very quick ankle lock. And
Mike taps immediately. So good.
Yeah.
And then as, Chad Gable's celebrating and stuff like that, suddenly we hear and Elias pops up on the screen.
Yeah, so Elias, who's been allegedly out with injury. We haven't seen him in a while. It's the same injury that's prevented him from presumably touring here in October.
Wow.
So it's this little song about how
it's basically a shit ton of short jokes. And you know what? As a shorty, like I posted this on Twitter. I was like, as a fellow shorty, my heart goes out to Chad Gable. I feel for him. He's my new fave. But damn, that song by Elias was just great. It was so good. Love me some Elias. It was really good to see him, even though he's in injury, like out with an injury. It's good to see them still getting him on the screens and doing little bits and just making him still relevant, making him known that he's still there. Yeah,
so this is actually really amazing that Chad Gable's getting all the screen time.
I love it.
Just fantastic. He is a good competitor, and I do think they have some cool stuff. So, one thing we forgot to mention at the start of the show was some general housekeeping. It has been confirmed over this week that 205 is to be brought into NXT in some capacity. It will be it'll still be filmed after SmackDown like it normally does.
Yeah.
But where it sits is going to be a little bit different. So 205 itself won't be its own thing per se.
Yeah.
So with Chad moving over to 205 for a little while there, dominating. Coming over back here, it's all well and good. That's what I was getting at.
For sure.
Next up was a video from the 24/7 Championship with Carmella taking the win. We see Charlotte walking backstage to a locker room where Truth is at the door, being this protective man. Charlotte's like, "Hey, man, have you seen Carmella?" He's like, "Karma who?" Certainly not someone that is the 48/7 European TV champion.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know nobody can name Carmella who's on the run because she's the 48/7, 24/7, the 7-Eleven European champion. And the entire time Charlotte's just like, shut up. And like Mella comes out and she's like, truth, it's okay. It's totally fine. And like Charlotte looks over at Truth the entire time and she's like, Mella, I just wanted to congratulate you on your title. And like she's just eyeing off Truth the entire time. And she's like, thanks. She's like, I just want to make sure you've got your head in the game for this match. She's like, I totally do. What Bayley's done has been a bit shit. Like I'm not about that at all. She deserves to learn a lesson. Charlotte says something else while staring at Truth. And Truth, like as they're about to leave, Truth just ducks over Mella and he's like, woo! And Charlotte's like, and he's like, did I do it right? And Mella's like, stop, Truth. It's so good.
Next up was that match with Charlotte Flair and Carmella versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. Very, very cool. Everyone's wearing nice pink featured costumes. Charlotte Flair wearing her like a usual pink getup we've seen before. Carmella's wearing an almost Barbie inspired design, which is very cool. And Bayley and Sasha are wearing something we've seen before. So that was pretty rad. I enjoyed this match.
So did I.
It was
Good
nothing
pairing.
Astounding, but I really enjoyed because it showcased something that we've seen a lot recently with the tag teams, which is good. How Sasha and Bayley were consistently just focusing on one person and keeping them isolated. So they're very heavy on Carmella. Carmella had a lot of time in the ring, keeping her separated from Charlotte, eliminating that potential tag, and it was just very, very hard on Carmella. Loved it, absolutely loved it.
When Charlotte did get in, she obviously did clean house pretty heavily. Mella did ultimately end up tagging herself back in, which did cause her to lose. She, I believe, tapped out to a back statement pretty quickly.
She did.
As this happens, she rolls out of the ring. R-Truth picks her up and throws her over his shoulders with her title in hand. He goes running because a horde starts running down at the end of the match.
Yeah, so mild change the horde from what we've seen in the past. So this one was SmackDown based, of course. So Sonya Deville, Ember Moon, Mandy. I don't think Mandy was in there.
Yes, she was.
She was? Sure.
Yeah, Mandy Rose was there.
Sonya, Ember, Mandy, Kairi, Asuka.
Yes. So, yep, they all came running out. And they obviously follow Truth and Mella out. And then Charlotte's back in the middle of the ring, and she's like, Sasha and Bailey are just sort of like circling like sharks. Obviously, Charlotte knows where this is going to go, so Charlotte throws a first punch. She tries to get the upper hand on them. They ultimately do start getting the over on her. And then Becky's music hits, and everybody loses their shit, and Becky just comes storming down. No title to be seen anywhere. Becky just comes down bare and just sort of lays into them both. She does end up getting a disarmer on Sasha Banks very quickly. Bailey rips Sasha out of the ring, and they storm off. But it was absolutely beautiful seeing Becky come to the rescue of Charlotte. It was really cool to see that dynamic of the 4 horsewomen just sort of, doing their thing. Like I'm really interested to see where this is going to go, honestly. Especially with tonight, Charlotte seemed especially nice. Like, she didn't seem her vain up herself like usual bratty Charlotte. There was something different there. She was a bit nicer. So I don't know where this could be going, but I'm interested to see if Charlotte's pushing.
Yeah, look, I think what they're doing and what I think they need to do. I did get the notification. Thank you, Dash. I think they need to blur these lines between face and heel. Like it's a very old system. It's an old way of casting characters, and I think the characters that have the most effect or the most appeal are ones that blur that line.
Yeah, you don't know what they're supposed to do.
And I think because Becky has been in that situation for a while as well. Like, she's sort of that anti-hero.
Yeah.
He's messaging me now. Yeah, so there is that, like, having that in-between stuff works. And I do think Charlotte can still double down on being the tremendous heel that she is.
Yeah.
But I like that there is that line blurring here. And it's that situation of, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yep.
Let's do what we need to do.
Yeah, I was really into it. I'm really, it's not something you expect from Charlotte. You always expect her to be so up herself and so sure of herself and stuff like that. And just seeing, that line blurred, I was just like, oh, like it does get engaging because like, which way are they going to go this week? That's what keeps people interested. That's what keeps me interested is like, how is this going to go? I like being surprised and caught off guard like I was with Raw. So I do like where they're going with this for sure.
Next, we had a backstage segment with Shane sitting with his attorneys, looking to what's coming ahead with he and the team having a chat to Kevin in the ring. Next up was it was a match between Ali and Shinsuke Nakamura. Sami Zayn was there. Sure, I don't have anything to really say about this match because it's 2 people I simply don't care about.
Yeah. Look, don't get me wrong. It was a good match. It was a very fast-paced match. There was this Ali did this vicious suicide dive onto Shinsuke outside the ring, like rolled and smashed his head into the announce desk, but still just got straight up and was like right on the attack like nothing had ever happened.
Yes, Ali seems to be continuing his bad things around that announce table. Yeah, he went for that suicide dive, and the way he caught Shinsuke kind of got his legs back in what's commonly referred, as a scorpion. It's when your heels touch the back of your head, like a scorpion tail. He got a little bit of that, but I don't know where the momentum changed, but he was able to kind of only just land on his head. Yeah. So rather than get super wrecked, he kind of just he was come out of it okay, which is good. Seeing as last time he went through that way, he blew his face out on the
on the announce
on the announce table. So that's a bonus.
He got thrown into the corner post viciously. Ultimately, Sami Zayn does get involved. Ali does the dumb thing of chasing after Sami Zayn. As he's chasing Sami Zayn through the ring, he does get smashed with a brutal Kinshasa to the face, which does cause Shinsegae to get the pin and the win. What I loved about this, though, is after the match, you see the camera guys sort of pan in on the announce desk, and you do see Ali sitting there like holding his head like, shit, I just lost this match type thing. And they sort of pan up from that back into the announcers. That was a really friggin' cool shot. Yeah. I was all about that. Just Ali sitting there in front of that desk like, man, like, and then just panning up to the...
It's a subtle little change. So normally it would be ring, hard cut to the announce desk to an already steady camera. Yeah. So these moving shots kind of add that more lively action to it. Exactly. It makes it feel less stilted. Like it's produced, but not in a... it feels produced, but in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very cool, and I do hope they continue making down these changes.
It was really cool, and props to them for that. I really loved that shot.
Yeah. Next was a video package of the Shane and KO shit, which is fine. Next up was a match between the New Day versus the B Team. This was a straight up comedy match, pure and simple. Yeah. Big E comes out, is already getting his titties out.
Yeah, straight away he's in the ring, like slipping himself out, and that, like even Corey alludes to, is like, look, he's already getting his guns out. Like it's gonna be, this is serious.
Yeah. Like, so as the BT come in playing their not very good intro, Xavier's having a dance in the middle there. Big E sitting in the corner. He's got one leg on each middle rope, just like
a huntsman when they like put like their like two and two legs together and they're just like this.
Yeah, he has the gnarliest spread going.
Yeah, big old spread. And as the B team are in the corner, they're like, B team, go, go, go. Like Xavier sort of props himself down in front of Big E, and Big E just starts thrusting to their theme and Xavier's back. Absolutely beautiful. It really was just like a comedy match. It was so funny. It really lightens the move and gets you ready and moving into the next thing. It was a bit of fun, a bit of dozen. The B team did do their B train where they run around the ring. Big E just does end up like getting himself involved and following in, and then like doesing one of the guys into
Curtis
the ring.
Angle.
Curtis, yep. Axel, yeah, throws him into the announce thing. They end up getting him back in the ring. The New Day do win. But overall, it was a bit of fun. You know what?
Yes, there is a confliction here with this match. It's that idea that like awesome, they're bringing someone out that isn't random people. There's a bit of fun here, a bit of lighthearted silliness, but because the B team are in no way over, they like when they're doing these B team chants and they're yelling to the crowd, they're giving them nothing. Yeah. Like the crowd. Nothing.
It's funny though.
Not a second. So like that part's really tough for them, and it's hard to add them. But as I said, like I can't sit here and complain about them bringing out random people when they finally do bring out people on the roster. I'm like, meh. So it's double-edged sword for me personally. Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a bit of fun. It was a good way to sort of give people a laugh and just sort of, I guess, sort of ease the mood moving into our next segment.
Yeah, so next up was a section with Mandy. She was holding a copy of the Maxim Australia magazine, where she is
our
the
October cover girl.
Yeah, she's on the cover. And yeah, so she's all signed them. She's handing them out to people, and then we hear this on camera. Out comes Otis requesting he could take a selfie with her. Grabs a copy of the mag, continuing this cool little story about him being in love with her across social media.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she pulls his awkward ass face in it too, and Tucker's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah," and Tucker's like, "Yeah." So beautiful. And even Sonya's like, "Mandy, come on, you're handing out. We've got a match right now. Yeah. Like you can't be handing out magazines." She's like, just here you go. Absolutely funny. Absolutely loved it. That does lead us into that match, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does. It leads into that match. So it is, as you mentioned, Fire and Desire against the Kabuki Warriors.
The Kabuki Warriors, which I was excited to see. All four of them had just been running with the Horde, so that was a bit of fun too.
Yeah, so the Kabuki Warriors come in first with the horrible intro.
Yeah.
They get in the ring, whichever. Mandy comes around, does her little entrance with a magazine in hand. Yeah. So Sonya does start in the ring for the match. Yeah, so while doing so, Mandy takes the copy of a magazine around to the announce table, hands it over to Corey, because as we know, Corey's a big fan.
He's a huge fan of Mandy. He loses his shit. He's like, it's like an extra Christmas, and it's signed. Look at this. And like, Saxton's like, can I have a look? And Corey's like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
you cannot touch this.
So yeah, he's distracted by the magazine, giving it all the praise as the match begins.
Love it.
It was an overall pretty solid match. I have no real major complaints here. Yeah.
One thing I complain about is
me.
Mandy, backstage segment, Mandy's like, they're going to roll out the red carpet and have parades for me in Brisbane.
Yeah, that's
and
what.
Sydney
Sorry.
and Melbourne. She always called it just Australia. Melbourne.
Yeah, we should mention that.
Bitch, no.
So, because it was Maxim Australia, they did drop the fact that they're doing the shows here in the month,
the entire match
which
they
is very
talked about
interesting. Yeah, they talk about Australia a lot, which is very cool. It's very interesting they did that, seeing as what we're having here are just house shows.
Yeah.
So there's no pay per view or anything. So it's very interesting that they were kind of
obviously
giving
promoting
that
to our
push.
market to try and get those.
Which is still weird, but that's look. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I got no major
you get
complaints.
excited when they're like, yeah, Australia.
Because we just had Mark Henry here promoting said tour on
Yeah.
Channel 10.
Yeah, so my friend works for Foxtel, and he got a photo with Mark Henry, and I was like, how dare you?
What does he do at Foxtel?
I think he's just in sales or something like that.
Okay. Can you message him and find out if they're handling NXT now that it's moved to Fox?
I'll ask.
Now it's moved to USA.
Yeah, I will ask actually. Well, yeah, so he got a photo with Mark Henry. I was like, how do I get involved? And he's just like, we're allowed to have visitors. So next time somebody comes, like, I'll give you a buzz. I was like, hell yeah, you will. So watch this space. I'm hopefully going to get in with some superstars. Little one-on-one, just like, hey guys, check out my podcast. We rip you apart. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was an alright match. It did end with Kyrie getting an insane elbow on Mandy for the pin. Pretty cool. I'm happy to see the Kabuki Warriors be on TV and to get a win.
There was a good little spot that I did love. There was Kari's on the outside the ring. Mandy gets out. She grabs the magazine back from Corey. She's like, give me that. And he's like, oh man. And she's just like, she holds it up in Kari's face and she grabs her face and she's like, you will never look as good as me. And like, she's yelling in Kari's face, and Kari like gets up and goes to kick the magazine out of her hand, misses by a mile. And then she's like, what are you doing? And she like walks up again and just boots the magazine out of her face. It was so good, but like, it was so cheesy. I love Kyrie for that. She's so cheesy. It's cute.
Next up, we get the Shane situation.
Again.
So Shane makes his way into the ring and calls out Kevin Owens, gets him to come in to discuss this situation they're having about the unfair dismissal court case that was mentioned last week.
Through the crowd again?
Yeah, so coming through the crowd because, he is currently fired. What I was looking for there. But yeah, he was currently fired, so he obviously wouldn't come to the backstage area, which was very cool. In the discussion of the ring here, Shane talks about how that there are two options here. The first one is that, look, I have the ability to run you through court. I could put this bad boy here for years, which, your concerns about $100,000 fine. This could cost you millions.
It'll cost you your
this will just
family.
drag you down.
Mm-hmm.
Or option 2, which was clean slate. Let's forget this ever happened. You lose your fine, that sort of stuff, whatever. Kevin Owens at this point is just
goes to shake hands.
Go shake hands. Kevin Owens backs fuck out. He's like, nah, mate, let's do it this way. In short, your friend's got a briefcase there. Let's put both the paperwork in that briefcase. Let's hang it above the ring. Let's have us a ladder match. Let's make this a thing.
Yeah, you talk about climbing the corporate ladder and shit like that. How about you climb a literal ladder, and whoever gets that, if I win, you're fired, you leave forever. He's like, because, courts and stuff like that, the idea of that courts and all that sort of shit makes me sick. He's like, what makes me more sick is you being in our locker room. He's like, I can't stand to be in a locker room with you there. I want you gone. This is not... this isn't about money. This is to humiliate and embarrass you and ruin you. And yeah, he's like, why don't we have a ladder match in the contract overhead? I win, you're fired, you leave us alone, we never see you again. You win, I'm gone. That's that.
So they're known as their final match. So this does look to be
match.
the big punch on the on the big period, full stop on this whole feud, which will be very cool. Interesting to see how that goes. It's got me excited for at least for the first show of the new season of SmackDown. Now finally we do end with Becky getting interviewed, talking about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks attacks from behind, kicks the shit out of her, throws him into what looked like a boat shed. Wasn't. And then they end up escorting Sasha away while leaving Becky just lying on the ground all fucking messed up.
Yeah, full on. Like Becky gets a little bit of an upper hand, throws Sasha into...
So Killer also adds in the chat, he loved that Kyrie was chasing after Carmella using her fucking pirate scope thing, which on a good note either makes her seem closer which is very cool. Like, oh, I've almost got you. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Because you're still like very far away.
It's so good that she's playing into that age. But yeah, so Sasha does attack Becky. Becky does throw her into a road case, and then Sasha throws Becky into a road case, and then a wall, and then like this really piss poor fencing where like you can see Sasha's having to hold it to rub Becky into it, and they ended up escorting it. They're like, Sasha, that's enough, and she eventually ends up leaving after slamming this fence on Becky, and they just leave Becky there writhing in pain. Like, she's just rolling around on the floor, and the official's like, and we're gone. And then it just cuts to black. That's the end of SmackDown. I don't know. It felt really short this week.
Which is good. Felt fast.
Yeah. It was very fast. It felt, I don't know. I was comfortable with it. Like, I was comfortable. Like, sometimes I feel like Raw can drag on. And I was just like, this is enough. Like, this doesn't make me, like, sometimes I can feel like watching Raw is a chore. Mm-hmm. And watching SmackDown this week was just super breezy. It was super easy. And I did like it. It was really good.
I do think that comes down to how it was shot.
Yeah,
having those quick movements, it makes it feel faster. It feels longer.
Because it's still a 2-hour show.
It's still a 2-hour show.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't feel like it. So yeah, I definitely feel like that definitely helped for sure. But yeah,
what would you rate it?
Look, overall, I was really impressed with it as well. Not too much to say bad about it. I think I'm on par with Raw. I think I'll give it 2.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. 2 Kurtz for me as well.
Yeah.
Once again, because it came down to nothing really bumming me out. Like, it's that situation. Like the problem that the only thing that bummed me out was the New Day versus the B team, and that bummed me out in more of a I can't complain. As I said, I can't complain about them not giving me people on the roster, and then when they do, complaining about it. So for that reason, I have to support it.
Yeah,
because I can't. I'm hypocritical in many ways, but I'll admit to defeat on this one. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode of SmackDown, the final on the USA Network, as they make their way to Fox on Friday. SmackDown. Friday. No live. It's not Friday. It's just SmackDown. It's Friday night SmackDown now. They've removed the live. Now, as we do end every show, we get our good friend Dash and we talk about all the backstage news you need to know about in a section we call Dish in the Dirt with Dirt Sheet. Dash, so he emails, he texts, he pages, does everything he needs to get us all them juicy gosses. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, damn.
Now, as we mentioned, he did have to edit the sheet to give us an additional 1 because it was getting crazy.
Ooh.
Number 1. Stone Cold Steve Austin is returning for one more match.
Whoa.
Yes, you read that correctly. Stone Cold Steve Austin has alluded to returning for one more match in the past, but it seems that the Texas Rattlesnake is ready to lace up his black boots one more time. Last week on the Steve Austin Show on Podcast 1, Steve Austin said the following, quote, "For the last couple of weeks down there at the Raw reunion in Tampa, down there at the Madison Square Garden show at Monday Night Raw, people ask me, hey man, are you still in a really good shape? You get one more match left in you," and I tell him, man, I say, it's a tough thing to think about. Physically, would I be able to have one more match? Yes, most definitely. And I could make it to the match without being injured, although the risks are always there. Just because I think all of the surgeries I had, where I had the spinal stenosis and getting that bone spur taken from my spinal cord, I'm in a good place. Nerves are feeling a lot better than they used to, so in theory, I could have a match. In theory, yes. The catch is Austin wants his last match to be against CM Punk. It has been reported that Punk has signed a Legends deal with WWE, so the likelihood of this match occurring is quite high. It may, in fact, be at WrestleMania next year.
Interesting.
I kind of don't want Stone Cold to have another match. I do. I think he's kind of in this elevation above everybody else at this point, and I do think Undertaker should be there as well, but he's not because they keep wheeling him out. Shawn Michael was there until he had the Crown Jewel stuff last year. Yeah. Completely monstered that. So I really don't want it. However, CM Punk versus Stone Cold, sure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That I'm kind of down with. See, Dash read it in the accent. The problem is you got to do it in like the Stone Cold accent, which is like the accent, but it's kind of I can't quite get it. You got to paint it as well. You're like, that's the bottom line. I can't get it.
Because Stone Cold.
That's the bottom. I can't get it. I'm trying. It's down here somewhere. It's not what my voice is letting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, as I don't want to, I think the benefit of Stone Cold is that we see him come back, but we don't see him have a match.
Yeah. I think I've liked these little cameos that he's done, but not like, an occasional stunner here and there, but I don't know how he'd go having a full-blown Ziz match.
Correct. No.
Dash has said that he messages our friend Buddy Watson, not Buddy Murphy.
I message Buddy and tell him to get me news.
And tell him to get me news. I mean, he could message Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy could be his guy in the know.
He could. He
Dash might know something that we don't.
He does know. He used to shop at his JB. So.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they are buddies.
Maybe.
Buddy friends guys.
Next up, Shane McMahon written off TV next week.
Yep.
Paul Davis of WrestlingNews.co is reporting that the current plan for Kevin Owens to defeat Shane McMahon in their upcoming ladder match.
Yes, please.
Davis wrote the following, quote, I was told that the feud will end with Owens winning, McMahon no longer being involved as an authority figure because WWE is going to present a more sports-like product with more conclusive finishes and less interference from non-wrestling characters, end quote. Fuck yes.
100%. All for it. I knew as soon as KO said it, KO would win.
Yeah. It's been rumoured for months that Owens/Shane feud would end with Shane being written off as a television character.
Wee-hee.
Fuck yeah. That's the result I want. And it makes sense if Fox do want to go down that line. It does make sense. If I can get less interfered responses, finishes. Oh.
Yep.
Woo. That's how you make a front area damp.
Yeah.
Get ready. Next one.
Oh.
The Rock is maybe returning next week.
An
article on adage.com teased that The Rock could be making an appearance on next week's Friday night SmackDown premiere.
Of course he has.
Among the WWE veterans who will come out to help Fox make some new memories next week, Mick Foley,
Yay.
Awesome. Hulk Hogan, fuck it. Goldberg, yeah. Jerry the King Lawler, sure. Ric Flair, While many other opening night appearances are being kept under wraps, keep an eye peeled for the trash-talking Goliath, who is now the WWE's most storied alum, is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He may very well look to pop in for the 20th anniversary of SmackDown to promote his upcoming Disney film Jungle Cruise, and seeing as SmackDown is named after, He coined the name.
Yeah, he did.
So I think if you want to have someone for the 20th anniversary of a product that is named after him, it would be perfect.
He better do. Finally, The Rock has come back to SmackDown.
I'll be super down. I think Fox would have the money to throw
100%
at The Rock.
They
to
would
make it
throw
happen.
so much money on it.
Now, this is a follow-on.
I think it's sentimental for him too, though.
Yeah, I think so too. Following on from last week, we talked about AEW purchasing advertisement times on the commercials between the SmackDown, I believe it was.
Savage.
Yeah. So Fox is currently denying AEW's request for commercial time slots. The war is truly on. Fox have denied all requests for AEW to fill any ad break slots during SmackDown's premiere live on Fox next week. Fox and AEW have not commented on the issue, but it's apparent WWE fans made a request to the network to deny any AEW ads from running during the broadcast.
Good.
Fox has denied our request to comment.
That's hilarious.
So that makes total sense. Because the way it works in the US is, ad slots are up for dollar value, right? Because these guys are cable TV, right?
Yes.
So the big difference here is if you watch cable TV, if you watch Fox 8 here in Australia on Foxtel, you're going to get ads for A&E, you're going to get ads for Discovery. That's just kind of how it works. And the US is completely the same here. Now here, when we have our public access or our free-to-air TV, you will only ever get ads for the shows that are on that one channel. You're not going to be advertised for anything on any other channel.
Yes.
This is smart. You don't want SmackDown certainly want to be advertising the new competition. It was interesting that this all happened last week. I do feel it may have been out of the blue and really took them off guard.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah.
And finally, Fox does not want sports entertainment.
Oh.
Don't expect Bray Wyatt or The Fiend on Friday Night SmackDown anytime soon. Fox has made it clear to WWE that heading forward, they are not interested in bad gimmicks on TV. They want to present WWE in a serious light as a sport and, quote, not sports entertainment. This move is quite interesting considering that Eric Bischoff was stated in the past that he wanted to completely change the direction of SmackDown once taking over. Bischoff is working closely with Fox and its executives on programming and its creative direction going forward. The presentation will very much resonate the same production we see in the Lucha Underground or the WWE 24/7 style, but on a grander scale. Production costs are expected to exceed those seen in the past, especially now that WWE are bringing back pyrotechnics. Woo woo!
Yes!
I made a good joke. We'll get to a sec. From each show season premiere, pyro cost for each show is looking to be around about $50,000. Other equipment including new red 8K cameras, which is something we noted today. High resolution cameras is awesome. LED monitors and other costs are set to exceed Vince McMahon's initial budget costs, with Fox footing most of the bill, including Raw, which will still air on the US.
Well, if they want it to be a good show.
I completely agree, man. This is a smart move here to make those changes. If they do want that more sports-based product, cool. Because AEW is heading in that way as well. The big difference is they're also open to silly gimmicks, the likes of Luchasaurus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a cool decision. I like that they are making those changes, as we discussed about the camera and how that's delivering. There was something else that was mentioned.
Lucha Underground. Have you ever watched Lucha Underground?
No, I have not.
So for me, I love Lucha Underground for what it is. I don't think I could do Lucha Underground 2.0, just because it is very soap opera-y. It is very backstage heavy. It is very story heavy. I don't know. I feel like going the Lucha Underground route is way too gimmicky.
That is the sports entertainment model there, yeah.
Yeah, it is very sports entertainment. There's amazing wrestling in it, don't get me wrong, but it is very telenovela. It's ridiculously exaggerated. I definitely recommend watching some Lucha Underground because it is a lot of fun for what it is, but it's too much. And I do have concerns that maybe Fox is going to go a bit overboard with it. We'll obviously just have to see in time.
Well, the thing that
but pyrotechnics
the thing that they've mentioned here is that I think they mean that in more of the production value, maybe not more the story delivery,
huge production value
as in the sweeping cameras and the change in how it's shot. I think that's probably more than they're going for, because they talk about the WWE 24/7s. They are fascinating to watch. They are filmed very cool, and they are essentially mini docos. So I think that's probably a good way to go about it.
Yeah, that's kind of
in terms of pyro, because I did make a joke. I went to the AFL preliminary finals last week, and the pre-show, which is a bunch of kids dancing on the pitch or the field, had more pyro than the last 5 WWE Raws. So that was a situation of man, why can't fucking wrestling have this? So I understand the cost, but man, people will go.
Especially if you're doing it.
People will go if there's awesome ass pyro.
Yeah. People like fire.
People do. Set stuff on fire. Killer goes, bring back the fist, goddammit. And that is a good point.
I remember the big SmackDown fist.
Maybe not the fist, but I mean, are we going to see a new set design next week?
Oh, that would be
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to see what that is.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this all. It's really exciting moving into this new era. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, we have come in, over the last 12 months, we've come into a really good time for wrestling, and that comes from a competition standpoint. It comes from a changing standpoint, because we are right over.
Dash just confirmed that the SmackDown fist is coming back.
Oof! All right.
Oh. So apparently both Raw and SmackDown will have new sets.
Well, Raw, once again, so if the first thing I've noticed today in SmackDown was the changing graphics, as in the actual graphics showing the match.
Yeah,
completely
Raw's
different.
got a different logo,
and they look really good. The
thing,
the SmackDown logo is different, as is the Raw logo. So it looks like they've done a graphics overhaul, which I'm really happy with. It's really going to differentiate the two, and that is the big thing for me personally. And once the draft kicks in, the wild card rule is no longer a thing. We are going to see that differentiation, and that's what I'm most excited for. So even when we do our show, which will separate them in weird ways, it won't be too much of a concern because they're so different.
Yeah.
So I think that might also work.
Yeah, definitely. I am all excited about it. I love a good rebrand. I love seeing what's new, what's going to come. I'm really excited about this.
Same.
Yeah.
That does bring us to the end of this week's episode of The Young and the Wrestlers. This, as it stands right now, happens every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes.
Subject
as
to
we
change.
mentioned, that will be changing in the coming weeks. Expect The Young and the Wrestlers on a Wednesday morning.
We'll
as
keep
it
you
stands right now.
updated.
Card subject to change.
Yeah.
If you want
to change.
if you want to join the wrestling conversation, head over to facebook.com/group/popculture so we can come chat to us there. Also chat to us on Discord or on Twitter. Links are all in the description below. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, like we have here, you can head over to patreon.com/thepopculture. Support us at any dollar value. Get yourself a nice little sneaky link where you come and watch us record not just this show, but also our other show, the For the Players, the PopC PlayStation podcast, all from that $1 value. You can, if you want to support us in a more one-off fashion though, you head over to popcultures.com/shop where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it, phone cases if you want. We are also on Twitch, twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where next week we will be doing the Hell in the Cell predictions. Big advantage because the week before the pay-per-view, as we always do. As I said, keep an eye out for us at PAX, man. We'll be there hanging about, having a good time. It's still 2 weeks away. If you do happen to get them tickets in, come say hey.
Yeah.
But until the next one, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm as short as Chad Gable. I'm Jem.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Actually, we'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
Hey. The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast, is fan support over at Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damian Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.